Sonic the Hedgehog is back, baby. That's right, Sonic 2 has hit theaters. Do you remember a couple years back, in a simpler time, back when the pandemic was just first starting and Sonic the Hedgehog came out and we were all just kind of going to the theater with a little bit of unease? So hopefully we started the pandemic with Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know about end, but maybe we can have some sort of finality with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And I actually enjoyed the first Sonic movie. I have a video of that on this channel that you should go and watch. Good video. That film felt like the weirdest piece of movie history ever, where you have a studio who breaks their fucking keyboard fingers trying to take this atrocious animal that is masquerading as a Sega mascot, and they go into his DNA and fix him, and it actually makes for a good movie. I remember everyone said that first Sonic movie, even after the edit, after the design change, it was still going to be a bad movie. And it turned out it's a pretty universally enjoyed film, and I can say the same thing about Sonic 2. This film takes all the momentum from that last film, does it again, and somehow in a universe filled with Uncharted movies, Halo TV series, somehow Sonic the Hedgehog is the one to break into a cinematic universe on the big screen. Let's talk about it. This film's main objective is to introduce everyone to the characters of Tails and Knuckles. They're the franchise, trio. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles. That's the Sonic Heroes trio that we are all running to. Sonic! God damn it. Why doesn't this film have the game soundtracks? You have so many good Sonic songs out there. If you just replaced a lot of the music from this film with the Sonic OSTs, the nostalgia boners lighting up across the theater would be wondrous. And the soundtrack I don't think harms the film. Again, this is really just a big kids film, and as big kid films, like mainly targeted for kids, it's still a good film, but I kind of wish I was a younger audience member who would appreciate a lot of the things happening in this movie. Back to the soundtrack thing though. Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of your Shrek kind of style soundtracks, where you're just kind of pulling from like songs that are gonna fit this scene and like maybe get a good laugh or a crack or a smile or something like that. They're not really used to like making the storytelling better. It's like, oh, funny dance scene, Sonic looking cool doing 90s action poses, that kind of stuff. And you have like Jim Carrey dancing. Again, if you just replace that song with the Eggman theme, are you kidding me? Eggman, I am the Eggman is what I am the Eggman. Could have done Live and Learn. There's so many songs you could have used. It literally would have immortalized this film. This would have been a perfect film. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Citizen Kane, stand back. Back on track, yeah. This film also has a giant anchor weighing it down, and it's called Human Beings. And I said this with the first film, where I just wished it was in its own Sonic universe, where there's just no humans, no Earth, none of that. And I feel the same thing about this one. Now that they've already established that character, Tom has a whole side quest where him and his wife are going to Hawaii for a wedding, and somehow, this is a spoiler, but I don't give a shit, the couple at the wedding are actually just trying to infiltrate Sonic. And even though Sonic had nothing to do with this wedding, he just happened to be there by chance, they attack him as if they were ready, like waiting for him to instant transmission into the wedding when that was never established as going to happen. And it's the weirdest part of this film. It's the most irritating. The actors, the writing, it's again still just your really cheesy comedy film, but this part felt completely unnecessary. There's 20 minutes of this film you could have cut out, and I think it would actually have been better. 20 minutes you could have given to Tails, because Knuckles steals the show in this movie, and Tails kind of feels like he's taking a back seat. I still think they handled him well. He's still lovably adorable, and he's still gay for Sonic, and he's like best friend attitude. That being said though, Knuckles is the MVP here, and if you given that 20 minutes, just giving it to Tails, make him go on another fun side quest with him, I think it would have just made this film better. And since we're talking about Knuckles, Idris Elba's Knuckles. As the years have gone by, I just look at what they're doing with Knuckles lately, and I don't know. By the way, I am a Sonic fan, but I'm a very casual fan. I just played some of the adventure games on GameCube. I'm not in depth with the lore. I learned things watching this film that may or may not even be a part of the video game lore, but I couldn't have told you what the Inkindas, what are they called? Couldn't have told you where Knuckles was from. I just knew he was like guardian of the Master Emerald. But yeah, coming back to Knuckles, Idris Elba does feel like a big, strong Knuckles, and he sounds so deep, but I really enjoy his performance. The moment that meme of the power that he doesn't need formed, I was like, okay, I'm in love with this version of Knuckles. And really, Knuckles gets his own arc in this film where he's basically learning what empathy is. He teams up with Dr. Eggman as to get the Master Emerald and defeat Sonic, and all that ties into like his heritage. And at some point along the way, he realizes, oh, Dr. Eggman is a bad guy, Sonic is a good guy, and he has to form that in his head because all he's known is these people are bad and my people are good. But now that he's exploring the world, learning and how not single-minded people actually are, and he realizes who good people could be, who my friends could be, he becomes a good guy. And again, it's not a complicated plot thread. It's a well enough arc for a very child-driven film. Zoomers are going to love this film. The Zoomers kids are going to love this film. Again, I wish I was kind of the right age demographic, because like if this came out when I was actually into Sonic, I would have been all over this film. You have to think, as far as video game to film transitions go, this one is about as good as it's going to get. Somehow that Hollywood filter changes and morph and fucking bastardize so many things before they get in front of a camera, and somehow Sonic the Hedgehog is the guy to make it across that line and have a bona fide, really good duo film. Not to mention, there is a love for the games in here. I don't think Jim Carrey and the director and the producer were like in a basement playing Sega Genesis or anything. But I think there's enough people working on this film that enjoyed the games or are nostalgic about the games and at least know the story beats that they need to get right, that they were able to do it. And each of the characters in this film, Tails, he feels like I'm watching Tails. Knuckles, it's a different iteration, but it feels like I'm watching Knuckles. Same with Sonic, and he's been in 2 films now. Then you got Jim Carrey's Eggman, which some people are saying this might be Jim Carrey's last role or film entirely, which makes me question because the plot thread that they're setting up for Sonic 3 involves Eggman. Not to mention Jim Carrey was in interviews talking about Sonic 3 being Eggman again. So it's weird. That being said though, if this is his last film, I feel like it's a solid swan song to be able to do another iconic character on your belt filled with iconic characters. All these zany cartoon characters he's been his entire life, and he can finish it off with one of the most iconic video game, cartoon, also anime characters, which that's what Jim Carrey has been his entire life, is a cartoon character. Yeah, some of the lines are cringe, but if you like Jim Carrey performances from the 90s, it's at that level. After watching the first film, I thought, you know, I still would like a different person to play Robotnik. If it was just a voice actor or something like that and he was animated, I thought, you know, that's probably better than what I had. But now that Eggman has his new look, now that he's shaved his head, he's got the mustache, I'm like, yes, that's what I wanted. That's what we should have had from the beginning. Jim Carrey still did a wonderful job in that first film, but now it feels like we have Eggman. He's going through this very zany Jim Carrey filter, but it's still Eggman. Now it feels like I'm watching Eggman and not just Jim Carrey. And I hope he's in Sonic 3, which the after credits scene to this film alludes to. The after credits scene is delivered poorly. Like, what was foretold, I enjoyed. I thought, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the Sonic stuff I like. That being said, though, I thought the way that they cut from this to this and just filmed it was weak. It was literally just plot dump. Final thoughts for Sonic 2. I like this film. I still think the way that the animated characters overflap the real characters, like, this has been something that has been done since, like, Roger Rabbit and shit. And it looked better in that film than it does on here, where it doesn't quite look right when you see Sonic standing next to other characters. It doesn't feel like they're actually both there. And I think that's a little bit weird for me. Also, there's a lot of dumb references. For some reason, even like Sonic has to bring up like Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel and a lot of other things that are gonna feel really outdated when we watch this film, even in a couple years. And on top of that, there's that whole arc with the humans in Hawaii. There is that dance battle, but if there was other things in this film I would shave, that wouldn't have been it. There were certain parts of that thing that I chuckled to. I think it just lasted too long. But everything that this film gets right, this film made me smile. This film got me hyped. I laughed maybe a little bit at least. I was entertained, and what Hollywood wants to do the most, I got nostalgic. And all those things combined made for a solid film. I'm going to give Sonic the Hedgehog 2 an 8 out of 10. Now I just want to listen to the Sonic soundtracks, play some of the games. There's a lot of Sonic I need to catch up on, maybe one day. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go and subscribe to this channel. Go and subscribe to my second channel where you can watch a lot of Let's Plays and reviews. And if you have any thoughts about Sonic the Hedgehog 2, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you, and until next time with that, I leave you.